Welcome to a tutorial video for a program called TT Server Maker. Today I will be teaching you in every way what you need to know to run this program for yourself and have your own Minecraft server. So let's get started. When you first open the program, you will see this window. It will look for updates and things like that. And here is an example server that's already set up for you so you can see what that looks like. It'll bring up this window with all of these options after you've started one, or created one. So let's go ahead and get rid of this one for now. And whenever it updates, you'll see this. This is a good time to mention this program is under active development. It's basically every time Minecraft updates, this program will update with it, and if you find any bugs or issues, feel free to go to the Minecraft forum for this and just directly tell on that forum what the problem is, and as soon as it can be, it will be fixed. You can also change your server folder. When you click that, it will restart the program. This is going to be where your servers are stored. I have a Minecraft folder for all of my Minecraft things on just the general computer itself, and I have a folder within it called TT Server Creator Servers. I just keep them all in there. Then you click ready, it'll bring this back up. Also, I will have a direct download link to the program in the description. So to get started, all you need to do is click this big plus button, and you can choose a server name. For this, we'll just do example. And for the type, you can choose vanilla or bucket. The only difference is that if you choose bucket, it will download a different file to run the server from the bucket source, and you will be able to use plugins. You can search and download any plugins within the program itself and install them from there. However, today we're only going to be doing a vanilla server because that's the more basic one that many people probably would rather start with. So all you need to do is click done, click on it, and then click the launch button. Okay, so first you're going to see this window pop up. These are your first and main server options. So first you'll see the IP and the port. The IP will be automatically filled for you, so you won't need to change anything here. Your port shouldn't be changed unless you have issues with this one. If you ever do change the port to a different number than 25565, you will have to, in the server IP, put the IP and then colon and then the port. Otherwise, it will not be joinable to your friends. This is for port forwarding. If you do not know what that is, there will be a tutorial link in the description for how to port forward on most routers. It's very general, and it's not very specific towards every router, but it tells you the things you need to know to find what you need. So this program does come with a port forwarding button built in. This will only be available in premium, which we'll get to in a little bit. However, that is free, but you can donate if you wish. So as you can see for me in just a second, the open port button does not work for me. I get a fail message. However, this doesn't matter for me because I have already port forwarded my router for Minecraft. This button will not work for everybody. If it doesn't, it's not extremely difficult to port forward, but it's, it just makes it a little simpler. If it does work for you, that's great. If it doesn't, well, there's not a whole lot you can do. Another aspect of the entire port forwarding doesn't work for me on here as well, so that may just be my router, it may just be my computer, I'm not exactly sure. So next we move on to the RAM. Now this is something you're going to want to look for. If you're running Windows 10 or, and I believe 8, all you need to do is right-click your Windows button and click System. This will take you to this page with all the information about your computer. However, if you're running Windows 7 and you don't have that button, just open File Explorer, go to this PC, right-click that, and click Properties. This will also bring up the same window. So from here, you can see your processor, which one it is, and how fast it runs. Mine runs at 1.9 gigahertz or 1.88 at max speed normally. Um, if you're running a or a CPU, sorry, this fast, you shouldn't have any issues. There may be slight lag, but there shouldn't be too many problems. But that also goes along with your RAM. I have 10 gigabytes of RAM. Many people will have 4 to 8. Um, if you have 2 gigabytes of RAM, you are still able to run this server. However, you're going to want to select 512 megabytes. This is half of a gigabyte. As you can see here, you would see 2, so you wouldn't want to use too much because you need to leave some for the system and Minecraft. So I have 10, and I like to take many things into consideration. I always leave 2 for Minecraft, 2 for my computer itself, and 2 for other things that I just randomly have going, which leaves me with 4 gigabytes. That is my maximum, so I normally want to leave it around 2. That leaves me with plenty for other things going on in my computer as well. So you can also see if you have a 64-bit operating system and other things like that. Those aren't things I'm going to talk about in this video because they're not exactly relevant to the whole idea here. So just look for this and you can see if you're running a 1 point probably 7 gigahertz processor and above, you should be alright, as long as you don't have your Minecraft settings way too high and you're not trying to run a server for 500 people. You should be alright as long as you're not trying to go beyond what you can handle. Your computer can, anyway. So from there, we move on to server slogan. This is basically the little message, which we'll see in a little bit. For right now, I'm just going to put hi and a smiley face. This is going to be a little message that shows on the server information, basically, before you log in. The server resource pack URL, all you need to do is put a download link to a resource pack here. However, it has to be direct. The way I recommend doing that, and there will be a link to it in the description of how, all you need to do is use a Dropbox account, put a zipped resource pack in there where when you would open the zip, you would see the direct files to the resource pack, and I will have an example that you can download. It's also a resource pack I've created, and you just need to get a direct download link to that. So it'll make a little more sense in the website that I'll have in the description for you. So just go see that if you do wish to have a resource pack. And the way it'll work, when someone joins, it'll ask them if they would like to download the resource pack. If they say yes, it'll download and install itself for them. Your view distance, I normally don't seem to have any changes with this. However, I normally keep it on 8 or 12. For right now, I'm going to leave it on 8. I don't seem to get any differences with this, but you normally want to put it on 812, unless you have a really beefy computer, because this may have something to do with the chunks and the way they load. If you have a really strong computer, by all means, you can go for a full 32 if you want, but I recommend 8 to 12, maybe 15-ish. Okay, so allowing flight. This is only effective in survival mode as far as I know. If you turn this on, basically flying is allowed within survival mode. Now, I don't know if this means that you can fly like you would in creative, but in survival mode without anything, or if it only means that if there's like a plugin or something else like a mod or anything else that allows you to fly, that it won't tell you you've moved wrongly and kick you off. So I keep that off only for if I'm in survival mode, I'm not flying regardless. So next we move on to enable command blocks, and this is a function that if you use command blocks at all, this needs to be on. I normally leave it on just in case I want to use one, or for whatever other reason there may be. Next we move on to online mode, and this is also mentioned on the page for the server itself, the server download for this program. Online mode, basically, if this is on, it will check when someone is, if you've ever logged into a server, you'll know it says logging in. This is actually the server contacting the Minecraft.net site and making sure your game is verified and purchased. If it is not, it will tell you invalid or something like that, and it won't allow you to connect. If you turn this off because, say, a friend is waiting to get Minecraft but they just can't at the moment, and I do not support that, but if you do need to run that and they have a modded client or something like that, then you can turn that off and it will allow them to join. But it also means you will not be able to see skins within the game. So I normally leave that on only because I don't know anyone that has that. So next we have announce player achievements. If that's not obvious enough, it basically means if this is on in chat, everyone will see when someone gets an achievement. Next we move on to server icons. You can click get icons and these will begin to load up for you. These are all different categories of different icons that are preloaded. You can select one and then click select and it will put it there. It will be the icon you see before you log on to the server in the game itself. For right now, we're also going to look into all the different categories just quickly, because the one I do want to select it's in the random category and they won't load until the previous ones have. So I'll just give you a quick sneak peek at all of these different ones. Next we move on to items, there aren't many here, and then random. Right here, this is just some random things, obviously. So for right now, we're just going to go with the rainbow, just because. Also, if you have a custom one that is 64 by 64 pixels and is in the PNG format, you can click browse and select that. Next we move on to map. This is where you're going to see all of your world options. So you can create a new world of any type, which we are going to do, and we're just going to name this test. If you have a pre-existing world, you can also click import. If it's in, you can just find wherever it is, go into it, and click the level.dat and open that. We won't because we are creating a new one. If you can choose two different build heights. This one will only allow you to place blocks from level 0, which is bedrock, all the way up to level 128, and then that one to 256. This does not change where any sky, clouds, or anything will be, I believe. Now, here, when you create a new world, you can also choose different options. If you click flat, like we're going to, you can also click presets, and over here, it's hard to see for some reason, they don't show up correctly, but you can click these and go through them. The last one will be redstone ready, there are none under that. So for right now, we are going to go with overworld, and it'll show you the basic things here, and the little slightly more advanced there. If you click select on one of these, you'll now get generator settings, which is the full layout of everything block-wise and decorations and things like that. If you know what you're doing, you can edit that. Now we move on to spawn protection. I'm also going to bring up this little help window while I go through this quickly. Spawn protection is basically, and as you can see here if you just want to read this while I'm talking, basically if any person that's not an operator will not be allowed to place or break blocks within the protected area. It's a radius of whatever you put in. I'm not sure if it goes from the middle 16 blocks out if you have it on 16, or 16 total from one side to the other. Not completely sure, but, basically, it just means no one can change the environment within that area. But if you're an operator, or opt as it can be called, you can still change things so it will not affect them, or if you set yourself, you. Max world size, you normally don't want to mess with this. This is basically enormous, and that's really just how far you can generate a world before it tells you no, you can't go any farther. This, I believe this is in chunks. Every chunk is 16 by 16, I believe, and that's just extremely large before. However, the world does not generate the entire thing until you've explored the entire thing. So really it only generates where you've been. So normally you're not going to travel that far because it would probably take you 3 hours to actually move that far, even with probably like swiftness 900. So anyway, from here we can move on to hardcore mode. If you don't know what this is, refer to the Minecraft in-game, make a single player world, and go through the game modes. You can see hardcore mode, the difficulty will be locked on hard, and I don't know if it changes that or no, but it will be in the world. And it also means if you die once, you can never respawn. So I don't recommend turning that on unless you're making some sort of hardcore extreme world or something, just for your friends and you. So next we move on to generate structures. If you select a new world and you don't select any options, but it's like flat and just regular, these types of worlds here, maybe even that, maybe that, I'm not quite sure. But generate structures will basically generate villages, strongholds, mine shafts, caves, all things like that. So next we move on to allow nether. That will mean this determines whether or not you can actually go to the nether from a portal. Next we move on to spawn options. These are basically, if you turn them off, then these will not spawn naturally, and same for all of these. And if you want to put it in hard mode difficulty, but you don't want monsters, you can turn them off and they won't spawn. I believe you can still spawn them with commands and spawn eggs, however, in creative mode. So next we move on to difficulty. That's fairly simple. Peaceful means no harmful things will spawn, anything that can hurt you. Easy, things will spawn, light amount of things will spawn, and they won't do as much damage, and then it just keeps going up with how many spawn and how much damage. So we're going to leave it on easy. Game mode. You have one of four options. Survival, which is basic. Creative, that's basic. Adventure is survival mode, but you can't break or change the environment. You can't place things either. And spectator mode is basically when you're a ghost floating around. So we're going to go with creative. And if you select force game mode, every time someone logs on, no matter what their game mode was the last time they got off, it will be forced into the game mode you choose. So maybe say you change your mind and you want all your friends to go from survival to creative, just select creative and turn force game mode on, and they'll be forced into creative when they join instead of you having to go through and change all of them yourselves with commands. One glitch though, however, just to mention, is this will reset to survival every time you look at this window and start the server, so you'll need to change it every time. Say you get all of your friends that will ever join it, and then at one time and they'll be in creative. Next time just turn force game mode off and they'll stay in creative without you having to reselect it every time. For right now we're just going to turn it on, otherwise there may be a slight issue with when I join. But next we move on to the player tab. Allow PvP means whether or not people can hit each other. Basically, if you turn it off, then no one can hurt each other in any way possible, unless you make them fall. If you turn it on, they can. So, max players, this is how many people at one time can be on the server. This can be bypassed by certain permissions. So we're going to put it on 10. Idle timeout, and this is in minutes, so this would be 1 minute, this would be 5 minutes, so whatever number you select, that's how many minutes. If you want to turn it back off, you do have to type in 0 by yourself. So, idle timeout, basically, is, if someone sits in one spot and doesn't move at all, they have this many minutes before they get kicked off automatically. If it's on 0, then there will be no idle timeout. So we're going to set that to, I recommend around 30, just in case someone did have to just go for a little while, or just off completely. If it's just for you and your friends, normally you shouldn't have an issue. Use whitelist. If you only want certain people to be able to join and nobody else, then you turn this on and select here, only people you add here can join. Everyone else will be told they don't have permission to join. Next we have operator permission level, and these are basically level 1, 2, 3, and 4 for operators. When someone new becomes an operator, they will be one of these levels, whichever one you choose, and these will tell you what this level allows them to do. So say you select level 3 because you don't want anyone to be able to stop the server. That's what /stop does, if you didn't know. Then they will be able to use these and everything under it. So for right now, I normally just leave it on full because my friends and I, it's very basic. But now, when you're in here, these options will be, say, bypass player limit. That's what that exception is for there. Say that 10 people is already on, but you want to join. If you op yourself, for example, Mr. Steve is my Minecraft name, I'm automatically level 4 because that's what I have right here. These are just going to be the settings for the next person that's opt in this window. If you turn bypass player limit on, that means I would be allowed to join after 10 people are already on. So next, there is band players. If there are people you don't want on at all, then you just put their name in here, and whatever you type here, as you saw, hold on, it said reason. Whatever you type here is what they will see when they try to join. It'll say, you are banned from this server, reason, and then whatever you type there will show up. So next we move on to advanced. These are more advanced things that you normally just don't want to mess with unless you know what you're doing. Resource pack hash, I'll get to that in just a second, but network compression threshold, I'll bring this window up, I'll do that for all three of these, just so you can see if what I'm saying doesn't make sense, you can read this. If it doesn't make any sense, just look it up on Google, it can probably be explained in a better way. Basically what it is though, it's how much information that gets sent and is received by the server is compressed so that it doesn't take as much internet connection, especially if you have slow internet like I do. If you have slower internet or you don't know what you're doing, do not touch this. I don't recommend you do, even if you do have good internet, because it's a pretty good number to leave it at. Doesn't really change too much anyway, but I recommend you don't mess with it. Max tick time, this is how long in, I'm pretty sure this is 60 seconds, so this is a minute. If the server sees that it has been frozen, like say for some reason something happens in the server, like a huge TNT explosion goes off and it just starts freezing and nothing's happening. If the server sees that it's been frozen for, in this case, a minute, it will automatically shut itself off. That way, it's not just frozen and you don't have to force it to shut down, which could lead to world corruption. So basically, if what I said didn't make any sense and this didn't either, just take a look online for max tick time on a Minecraft server, and it can probably explain it a little better. Now we move on to resource pack hash. This is a little different. Now, I'm not sure exactly how this works, but I think if there's a resource pack within the server files, you can use a hexadecimal code, which is basically just different types of keys on your keyboard. I'm pretty sure hexadecimal allows letters, numbers, and I'm pretty sure it allows most symbols like question marks, parentheses, stars, and signs, percents, that kind of stuff, but the letters, I guess, need to be in lowercase. So this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I think it just means that if there is a code for it and it's in the server files, then you can upload it straight from the computer when someone joins, and it'll do the same thing with the resource pack as we saw earlier. Next we move on to Archon. If you have Archon, if you don't, then just leave this off. If you do, you can turn this on, and at some point you will be asked for the password. And this basically, if you have an Archon site or an app, then you will be able to use the IP to the server, the public IP, or the basic IP address that other people use. You can log on to the server from a remote console and use it that way, which is basically the console we'll see in a minute, but just on an app or site. So I leave this off because I don't really use that too much, especially since there are some other tools to help with stuff like that in the actual console. So Snooper, this just tells whether or not to send server information and usage to the actual Minecraft site so they know what to change in the server files. I leave this off because I feel like it does use a bit more of my Wi-Fi, and honestly, already as is, I don't need that. So I leave it off. It's probably not that much, so most likely, you all have a lot better internet than me if you're watching this video. So you can probably leave it on. It doesn't do too much, and it can help them out a little, but I normally turn it off for the reasons I've listed. And Quarry. This activates GameSpy for Protocol Server Listener. Basically, it just allows sites and people to see more information about the server and see what players are on and things like that. You can also click here, which will open where the current server that you're editing is stored. So this is everything that's already there. And then next you can move on to the Premium tab. This is, this code will be blocked out. I'm not sure if you can use it or not, but this is the one that I have here. And it says, congratulations, your premium key has been activated after you get one. Here will be the option to donate, which will always be there, and the option to go and get a key. If you don't have any money to donate, that's okay, you can get a key for free, absolutely free, no information required other than an email, which it will be sent to. So from here you can take a quick look at all your settings, make sure everything's the way you want it to be, and click Start. First, it's going to ask you this. This is every time you create a new server, it will ask you for this. Official release is basically every normal release from the time servers were supported in Minecraft. So say you and your friend want 1.7.10 for some reason, you can select and download that server. However, we're going to stay with the most recent version of Minecraft. Or, if you are using snapshots on your game, you can download the most recent snapshots, well, the snapshots for the upcoming update. So we're going to go with official release and click download and start. So I will be right back with you as soon as this is done. Alright guys, we are back and the server file is just finished downloading. This didn't take that long, and I'm sure it won't take as long as it does for me for you. It probably took me about 30 seconds, and that's really not bad. So next, it's going to ask you to agree to the Minecraft End User License Agreement, or EULA as it's known as. And this is basically, it's really just every agreement and privacy policies, stuff like that, that's in the game itself, that's created by Mojang, so that all copyright things aren't crazy. So next, you have to click accept to use it. If you click I refuse, you will not be able to use the server itself. So next, it will actually begin starting the server program itself with how much of RAM you chose, and this will start up in just a second. It'll show you what version of Minecraft you are running this on. It'll load everything up. It'll tell you the game mode and the IP and port, and it'll just go through some technical stuff here, and now it's going to create the new world. If you have a pre-made world that's already ready and done, or when you start it up the next time, it won't take as long to prepare the area. So now it's done. It only took 21 seconds for me. Normally it only takes about 3 to 6, but it's because it had to create this, and I'm recording, so it took a little bit longer. So next, we're going to leave this running for a minute while we go over some other stuff quickly. We have tools. The first tool you'll see is Countdown. You can count from wherever you'd like. I believe it counts one number every second, so be cautious of that. Don't select 1,000,000 or it's going to be going forever. You can play a sound to players every time it counts down one. It's like a little ding sound. It's like when it's called successful hit, if that means anything to you. You can turn this on, and then you can have a starting message. This will display before, so we will say hi. And the final message, which is required, you can say bye. And if we start this, you can see it here, it started, and then these little funky symbols here actually just change the color and the fact that these are now bold. For some reason this isn't bold, but these all are. But it played a little sound, every one of those, and it counted down like you saw. This was actually just in chat. These aren't commands. So next it moves on to the shutdown timer. You can choose shut or stop server at or shut down computer at. I found this kind of handy in case maybe you're going away on vacation, but you wanted to leave a server running for your friends for a little while. You could say shut down computer at, or just stop server at, but you can click here and select a day. So maybe you want to leave it running for 2 days. For me, that would be Saturday, the 23rd of January. So if I were to select that, it'll select it here so you can see that's the selected one, but I'm going to leave it on today just because. And it'll fill it out with the time it was when you open this window. So you can choose whatever time, so maybe like 9:37 and p.m. So you can also change this to AM just by hitting the letter A, or PM by hitting the letter P. This last little bit here, this is just seconds. If you want to be really exact, then, that's up to you. So for right now, if you click OK, but you accidentally didn't mean to, if you go to shutdown timer again, you can cancel current, which will stop it, and then you just hit the X. UHC is ultra hardcore. These are the options you have. I'm not going to go over any of this. You can explore this part yourself. But these are fairly simple, and then this is just how large and where it'll start in the world and blah blah blah. I will bring up this window quickly while I'm talking. All you need to do is select your options and hit setup game, and then this is about the controlling player. Now, you need to make a backup of your world before you start this, because it will change the world and you will have to replace the world with a previous copy after it's over. So, make a copy of the world. Basically, all you need to do is just go to the folder where it's stored, just copy it and put it somewhere where you will remember until you need to bring it back. So those are all the tools, and there will always be more coming. Because, like I said, this program is always being updated. There's not a whole lot of things that are missing that you really need, but there's always new stuff, there's always new options, there will always be new things for you to explore and look through and things like that. Well, whoops. Looks like my friend had just joined the server and he had no idea that I was doing a tutorial. So that is the Jimmy's here. Shout out to him while I'm doing this quickly. I have a feeling he realized that it was just a little test and so he left. But you can go to information, and this is where you're going to find your public IP, which is the one your friends use, and your local IP, which is the one you use. Unfortunately, I will have to block both of these because they are on my computer itself, so you can't really see these. But you can click the copy button. So say you copy your public IP, then you can send it to a friend in a text or whatever, or maybe a Skype message, and then they can just copy and paste it in their game. Or for yours, which is a little more handy as well, you can click copy and then just paste it when you're adding your own server. So this button will tell you if your server is port forwarded. It will only take a little while. But as you can see, I get an error message saying no, they don't, and they do. As you could just see, my friend from, I believe, Westfield has just joined. That's not exactly very close to me, and that's also not on my own internet. So as you can see, it is port forwarded. They can join it. I don't use Hamachi, so it just, that button doesn't work for me. If you change your mind and want to upgrade to premium, which I believe is required for these tools, then you can do it from here as well. Remember, it's very I do recommend donating. This is a very good program with a very good creator. If you can't donate any money, that's okay. You can still get it for absolutely free with nothing more than an email. But if you can donate, please do. So here you can find some basic questions people ask, and you can click on these and it'll take you to answers for them. And these buttons up here don't seem to do anything. However, I do believe they will be functional in the near future. Or you can also go to the forum page like I mentioned before. There will be a link into the description to that. That's also where you're going to go to download this. And that's basically, that's where you're going to find more help. These are just a few basic things. So now I will meet you back in the game. In the game here, as you can see, and this is where we're going to be adding the server. So as you can see, it will already be added for me here, but I'm going to show you how. So from here, all you need to do is go multiplayer, add server, and you can choose whatever name you want. So for right now, we'll just put example server. This is where you're going to go and copy the IP from information. You can't see it right now, but I am in the window for it. You just need to click the copy button and then click on your keyboard Control V. I say Control V with confidence because this program is for Windows only. That's good to mention now. So there aren't really any other key combinations unless you've changed it, which you should know. You then just click Done, and it will load it up for you. Now, for right now, as you can see, this one isn't going to load because it's already added up here. So we'll just pretend that this is the one I added down here, and we'll get rid of that one. So for this one, you can see it has our message we put hi in the smiley face, it has the rainbow icon, and it has that max amount of players. So we will join it. It will say logging in, and then it will bring it up. That's basic Minecraft stuff, I guess you could say, and this is the options we chose for the world. We chose the overworld, so it has little pools of water, it has flowers and animals and grass, and it's, pretty basic. So as you can see, the full creative menu is there. It doesn't limit what items you can use. And I'm very sorry that this is lagging a lot right now. It's only because I'm recording with something I don't normally use. But, everything is here. You can use everything. Everything will work. At least it should. And it won't be this laggy so long as you have a fairly decent computer. This is, again, only because I am recording with a program that my computer's not really used to, so it's a little laggy. But anyway, as you can see, it does completely work. And just to prove you that this is my own server and that I'm not lying, that this is the one I'm running now, I'll do a quick countdown just to show you. Play beep, starting message will just say some random letters. When I click start, as you can see, there it is. Now, you'll also notice I see... Oh, it lagged a little, but you can see I see this. That's only because I'm an operator, and the broadcast console is on. So normally you won't see this, and other people won't unless they're opt, and, you can also change that in game rule. So, that's basically all there is to it on the Minecraft side, and we'll head back over the console now. Alright, we are back in the console, as you can see, and this is everything that happened while I was there. Can't keep up to the system time change. This is only because my internet's slow, so it just got a little behind. So it'll handle that by itself, and it'll skip a little just so it can keep up. I believe this is the point when it lagged a little and it stopped at 3 and then skipped up, but you can see then I left the game. It'll show you everything you need to know. And this stuff here, this little part, it basically says I lost connection because I disconnected. It has a bunch of other stuff here just showing basically what it looked like when I disconnected, basically anyway. And when you want to stop the server, all you need to do is run the command /stop. But before I do that, I also wanted to show you can run any other normal Minecraft command such as /say hi. So that's going to broadcast a message, but there's a simpler way to as well. You can click this button and go to message, and this will just be a simpler way to go through this. It'll do the command for you automatically. You just type in whatever you want to say and hit send. It'll automatically run the /say command. That way it'll just say server because it's the console, and then whatever you typed in here. It'll still say command, but it's just basically the message until you switch back. Now I'm going to stop the server now, and we will go back to see how it works when you stop it and you want to close it. So you can see here, just quickly, it stopped it all, it saved everything, saved all the different pieces of the world, and basically finished stopping it. And then all you need to do once it's done, just click the X. It'll bring you back to this. You can, one more thing I wanted to mention is the update button. Whenever Minecraft gets updated and you want to update the server version, or say you just want to switch between snapshots and the regular official release, then you just need to go click the update button and it'll bring this up. So I'm going to click cancel because we already have the version we want. To exit out of this menu, just click the X. And here you can see, there it is, it loaded up. Now it says 1.8.9, before it only said vanilla. That's because we've selected the version. So from there, that's all you need to know. Check some links in the description for some other types of information, for help, things like that. And feel free to ask any questions on my channel in the comments as well. I can probably help you with some things Minecraft side, maybe it's not working or stuff like that. If you can't get a response on the forums, I might be able to help you. If you need other information about port forwarding, there will be a tutorial for that that will be with the video in the description. So hopefully this helped you out with creating your first server, or maybe even a server that you just wanted to bring over, because it's a lot simpler. So hopefully this program serves you as well as it does for me, and I will see you all later. Bye.